Hi, everyone. Welcome to this week's What's Up Wednesday. My name is Rachel, and I am on the client support team here at Early Learning Ventures. And today I'm joined by our new COO here at ELV, Tim Garcia, and also Grace Honce from Hartway Evaluation Group. Thank you so much for joining us both today, and congratulations, Tim, on your new position as COO.
Thank you, Rachel.
Yeah, it's exciting to have you both here. Awesome. So before we get started, just a few things I wanted to go over. So thank you to everyone who is watching live with us today. If you have not heard of Early Learning Ventures before, we are a 501c3 nonprofit based out of Colorado, and our mission is to expand access to quality and affordable childcare. One of the ways that we focus our efforts on improving the quality of early childhood programs is by providing resources and sharing knowledge through these weekly What's Up Wednesday videos. So we are live every Wednesday at 1 o'clock p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Facebook and on YouTube. So I hope that you'll continue to join us and share these videos with your friends or your colleagues or anyone in your network, even your families, because there's new resources being shared every week. So maybe someone that you work with or you yourself might learn something new. And because we are live, you can ask questions in the chat. So as we're talking, feel free to put questions in the chat or in the comments and just interact with us. Maybe even just say hello when you join us and let us know where you're watching from. I love to see that. We're also now offering office hours, which is really exciting. So our client support team is available to provide assistance on a wide range of topics, including tech support, setting up a new computer or device, guiding you through using a new or current device, or also creating business or personal email addresses. We can even help with creating flyers or newsletters, a business logo, business cards, all sorts of support being offered there. So this is something that can apply to anyone in our network, even if you're not already working with us through Alliance Core. So please reach out if you have questions. I do have our email in the description of this video, and we also are able to provide this assistance in Spanish as well. And another one of our free resources for those of you who are located in Colorado is the Shared Services Resource Platform. I also have the link to that in the description of this video, so you can click on that to learn more, or you can go to our website, or of course, send us an email. We're happy to answer any questions there. So Tim, why don't you start us off by introducing yourself and your role with us here at ELV?
Sure. Thanks, Rachel. I'm Tim Garcia. I'm the Chief Operating Officer at Early Learning Ventures, and I've been with ELV for 9 years, 8 of those years as Director of Childcare Partnerships, and then just this past month moved into the COO role. So still settling into that role, but very familiar with the breadth of ELV's work over the past 9 years across the organization. And so now, rather than being primarily focused on early Head Start childcare partnership programming, in this new role, it'd be more directly tied to day-to-day functions of ELV as a whole.
Awesome. That's exciting. And again, congratulations.
Thanks.
Grace, can you introduce yourself and also share with us your role at Hartway Evaluation Group, and then kind of just give us an overview of how you've been partnering with us here at ELV?
Sure. Hello. Hi, my name is Grace Honce. I am the founder and lead evaluator at Hartway Evaluation Group. We specialize in nonprofit evaluation support, things like surveys, focus groups, strategy coaching, and data interpretation coaching. As well, I've been working with ELV as an evaluation consultant. I've been assisting in the writing, implementation, and analysis of ELV's recent annual provider feedback survey.
And I apologize. I think I said Hartway Evaluation Group, but
That's okay.
Evaluation.
I like that. I might take that.
Okay. So today, Tim and Grace are going to be sharing with us some of the results and feedback that we received from a feedback survey that we sent out at the beginning of this year. This is just one of the many ways that we collect feedback from the individuals and programs that we work with. So we send out smaller surveys throughout the year, and we recognize that there is always room for growth. So we are always taking your feedback and suggestions into consideration, and we encourage you to continue to share that with us. So we sent out this feedback survey, and we asked those submitting responses to identify which level of membership that they currently have with us. Tim, can you tell us about the different membership levels or different tiers within the organization?
Sure. So if in this case, and maybe outside of this conversation, You may have seen or heard the use of the terms tier 1 through 3, tier 1, 2, and 3, in reference to ELV network membership. And so you'll also hear that in Grace's description of her work on the survey too. And that references the type of programming or services that ELV network members are engaged in. For example, tier 1 refers to ELV network members that are Colorado-based childcare providers or individual early childhood education professionals that maintain active access to the ELV resource platform only. Tier 2 refers to ELV network members that maintain active ELV Alliance core usage and can be located anywhere in the US and are currently spread across 18 different states. Tier 3 refers to a smaller number of those active ELV Alliance core users that are also participating in ELV Early Head Start childcare partnerships within 6 Colorado counties. So tiers 1 and 3, Colorado specific, and tier 2 is active core users anywhere in the country.
Yeah, awesome. And I think we are in 18 or 19 different states right now. That's exciting. So Grace, can you tell us how this conversation regarding the survey got started and how these questions were created?
Absolutely. So it all got started when an ELV employee and a very close longtime friend of mine, she was aware that ELV wanted to do an annual partner feedback survey. She knew I did that work and she connected us. I met with some folks at ELV. We had a conversation about what ELV was looking for and what we can offer. And it seemed to be a great fit. So we got right to work. The questions came from a variety of places. There were about 4 areas ELV really wanted to dive into. One is grant data, another is internal benchmarks, one is growth generally, and one is satisfaction. So for grant data, nonprofits get an overwhelming portion of their operating funds from grants and external funders. Those funders and the nonprofit itself tend to share mutual goals, and the funder wants to know, hey, where are you in working towards these mutual goals? And you need data to prove that. Folks working in nonprofits, they're extremely passionate and extremely talented, and they see the value and the impact every single day. And when it comes to reporting to grant funders, you need numbers. You need hard data as well, so you can really show this is what we're doing, this is how it's working. So we looked at the grant funder data point needs and created questions surrounding that. As far as internal benchmarks, so to quote your website, ELV's goal is to make childcare providers' lives easier by saving time, money, providing trainings and resources for both long-term strategy and day-to-day operations. I did add the bit of it. So we created questions that ask their providers how they're experiencing each of these internal benchmarks. So how much money do you think you're saving in this amount of time? How much time do you think you're saving on operational tasks every week? Things like that. As well, like any good nonprofit, ELV wanted to know where they can grow. It's essential for any business, for-profit or nonprofit. And so we created questions to find ways for ELV to learn from their partners what is and is not producing value for their partners. So what's ELV doing really well? This highlights areas for people to celebrate and advertise and invest in, right? So whatever we're doing really well, let's keep doing that and keep doing it really well. And what can ELV do better? This highlights areas to focus resources and really dive in deeper to get those details, those actionable details. Finally, satisfaction. This is an essential measure that is highly sought after in just about any business, right? You go to McDonald's, you use a public bathroom, you're going to see those little faces that say, how did we do today? Happy green face, mad red face. That's one way people search for satisfaction ratings. It can be a tricky thing to measure in a once a year shot. So for this sort of scenario, asking folks, would you recommend ELV to a colleague is a tried and true proxy for overall satisfaction. So we asked people, how likely would you be to recommend ELV to a colleague? They rated on a scale of 1 to 5. And then we dove a little deeper and asked, what would bring you from a 4 to a 5? What would actually bring you from a 5 to a 4? Things like that to get those actionable details that ELV that can then take and turn into goals for the year. One thing we talked about a lot was that it was important to have both numbers, the quantitative data, and words, the qualitative data. Those are really valuable for so many reasons. Numbers really get you the what is happening, how often is it happening, where are people at, what's the level, and the qualitative data, the words, get you the actionable details. What can we do about it? Why is this happening? How could we fix it? Straight from the mouths of the people that you're serving.
Thank you, Grace. And I apologize if you could hear my dog barking there for a second. I have 4 dogs, and I'm always just crossing my fingers that they're going to behave during this video. Today they wanted to speak up. We also have a comment from Anna. She's saying hello and greetings from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And she wants to thank Joalba, who has been her trainer, working with her to get her set up with Alliance Core. So that's nice. Thank you for sharing that with us, Anna, and congratulations, Joalba. So Grace, can you share with us why is it important to work with a third party to collect and interpret this data?
Sure, that's a good question. There's a couple of reasons. A big one is due to, basic human nature. This has nothing to do with an individual. It's just how we work as human beings. We unintentionally skew what we see based on our own perspective and our own lived experience. So bringing in a third party can help to eliminate that potential skewing, especially when it comes to something important like, talking to a grant funder about how you're doing. So very specifically, when it comes to writing, you really want to make sure your questions are written in a way that is not leading. You're not trying to get the answer that you want, and that the question will get the data that you really want. And this is both an art, but it's also very much a science. Folks in any job, they have talent and skills that really serve that role. And it may not be evaluation work like that. And small nonprofits don't always have the means, nor is it really feasible or necessary to have a full-time evaluation position within the organization. So a third party can not only help pull away those potentially skewed perspectives, write really solid, tried and true evidence-based questions, but also sort of hop in and out and provide the service and the resource when it's needed. As well, again, human nature, no matter how positive a relationship is, if there's someone asking for feedback, a person feels more comfortable telling someone else, right? If your employer comes to you and says, "How are we doing?" You don't want to tell your boss how they're doing, even if they're fabulous. There is a potential for a difficult conversation there, and people feel more comfortable telling someone else who will then tell your boss in a de-identified way, right? It's safer, it's more confidential, it provides that confidentiality and security for folks answering the survey.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about some of the biggest takeaways from this survey as far as opportunity for growth and improvement here at ELV?
Yes. So Alliance Core software, people love it. It provides so many amazing resources for folks. It makes their days easier. Because it's so highly rated, there's a huge opportunity here for improvement. A lot of people mentioned the user interface, simple navigation techniques, the way it looks, being able to turn off features that you don't use, those kinds of things is a great opportunity. As well, staffing resources. So ELV provides great staffing resources. People want, a more robust introduction and more robust resources generally for a job posting, finding, training, and keeping good staff. And then finally, knowing what you offer. ELV offers a lot of amazing resources. And we asked a question, hey, were you previously unaware of any of these resources? And every single resource had at least 3, if not up in like the 30s, that many people saying, I didn't actually know about this before. So that's a great opportunity to say more about what you do.
Yeah, thank you. That is very insightful. Tim, can you share with us some of the how will we be focusing, our efforts on addressing these in these areas and improving in this area?
Sure. Yeah, it sounds like a three-part question or response kind of thing. So I might need to have my memory refreshed partway through. But
let's start with Alliance Core.
In terms of Alliance Core, ELV has product management processes in place and in constant motion that include product enhancement, product development processes. The feedback that we have received through this survey will be brought into where we are within that ongoing workflow. And so there are different factors that play into how enhancements and new development are prioritized. For instance, anything that strengthens user security and privacy or that supports child safety related data management naturally rise to the top. The number of users requesting a specific enhancement or the software development time needed for an enhancement or development, or even whether or not the request falls into a category of, say, necessary for functionality or more of a luxury that would be nice. These all are factors that need to be balanced when it comes to prioritizing system enhancements or new development. And so that will be no different with this feedback. It aligns with the processes that are currently in place. What is very helpful in this case is to see that, say, if 16 system users out of 82 respondents had enhancement ideas in a specific area, that will support some stronger consideration when it comes to prioritizing the work. And if these ideas also relate to, say, attendance and childcare licensing compliance, it could also be directly related to data supporting child safety. And so these are aspects that we'll be diving further into moving forward for all of the feedback coming out of the survey. And then just to, I guess, kind of as a side note on this topic, another way to submit feedback anytime that's always there is, and another way for us to see trends in terms of rising numbers of requests related to similar features is by submitting support tickets in Alliance Core. If you're signed into Alliance Core, you see your menu on the left with a drop down for support. You can always submit a support ticket there. And if you'd like to keep an eye on whether or not your ideas or feedback have been included in recent system updates, you can also see that when you first sign into Core on the update with the date of the latest update right there. I think today it says March 15th update. And so that's a way you can always see, if your, feedback has been represented there. And you can also see highlights of updates in ELV's monthly newsletter. So if you're not subscribed there, you can go to earlylearningventures.org, and at the bottom of that page, you see monthly newsletters. You can look at the previous ones or subscribe and always be up to date on those updates there as well. In terms of staffing, which I think was the second topic, and supports around that, that can definitely be helpful in terms of how how we tune our client support team into that kind of desire of tier 2 users to be up to date on what's available there. And going back to something that Rachel mentioned in her introduction is use of office hours, and specifically office hours with our leadership development manager, Elsa. And so that is available there. I believe that the link for accessing office hours is also in ELV's monthly newsletter. So right back to that same resource on how to access those kinds of office hours for supports around staffing and guidance around that. Now the third topic, this is where I need the refresher.
And this was just resources in general that we offer.
Oh yeah, and items in the survey that respondents identified that they were unaware that they were available. And I noticed high numbers around, say, family engagement resources and child health resources. And some of these things I think we have tended to maybe promote more directly within Tier 3 and the child care partnership programming, because those particular participants are utilizing other supports in those areas. And so they're more tuned in that those are available. And so with a large majority of respondents on this survey being Tier 2 users, then that lets us know that we will need to strengthen our efforts to promote those with, across all Tier 2 usership.
Yeah, and I think that these What's Up Wednesday videos are also a great opportunity for that. And so it's just a reminder to us all to make sure that we're sharing the resources that you yourself are utilizing, because there could be somebody close to you that you work with that may not know about them, and that will help get the word out about that. And Elsa did put in the link for the office hours booking in the chat in this video. So thank you, Elsa. Grace, can you now share with us one of the things that really stood out as something that we are doing well?
Definitely. It was hard to pick one, so I didn't pick one.
That's okay.
The Alliance core software, people love it. It makes the day-to-day so much easier, and even the longer-term things like billing. Folks specifically mentioned the billing and attendance capabilities, and how it helps them save time and money. And on a very basic level, you're saving money. Folks talked about saving money because you're not having to print things as much. You're saving paper and ink. And those seemingly small things really add up quite a bit. Another item, these providers are very satisfied with their partnership with ELV. 94% of the folks that answered the survey said that they would recommend ELV to their colleagues. This is major. This is a major accomplishment, and ELV should feel super proud. Their partners are getting an amazing product and support through their partnership with ELV. And then finally, the client support services. People could not say enough about how amazing the client support service team is. Very specifically, they are helpful, they are available, they are effective, they really meet you where you're at in terms of understanding what's going on. Also, folks talked a lot about talking to a person instead of a machine, or having to navigate another website to help you with your software. This human touch and human availability is clearly appreciated by your clients, and definitely sets ELV apart from their competitors.
Thank you. And on that note of the client support, we have another comment from Hector saying, thank you. We are happy with the core program, and thank you for having bilingual people who speak for our program. So again, they're thanking Joalba, and that's great that we have that bilingual support in the client support team. Tim, can you do you have any thoughts to share with us on this area that providers are really happy about, or in these areas?
Yeah, I'd be happy to touch on a couple of them. It's always great to hear positive comments on our client support team. We've always believed that ELV client support is a strength of ours, and it's a dimension of our work that really sets us apart. And so, as with anything, that does not mean that we will not continue to strengthen what we do in terms of client support, as we continue to lean into a culture of continuous improvement within ELV that includes building upon our strengths as an organization and identifying opportunities to continue our pursuit of excellence in our work. And so that will still be a strength for us to build upon. And the other one I think that Grace mentioned that I'd mentioned is the billing module. And so, well, that's wonderful feedback to hear. We know that there are opportunities to grow as well. And for instance, the billing module is not as widely utilized as we would like to see. And we believe it can be helpful to so many more providers. And there are actually already specific enhancements in progress that should increase the appeal and practicality for ELV membership in the near future. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. We have another comment from Judy, just sharing another resource, and that is the Family Engagement Friday podcast. Those are a great resource. And again, you can listen to those on Spotify, and so just share them out if that's something that you're already listening to. If you're not yet, then you can find it on our website and on Spotify. The Family Engagement Friday podcasts are a great resource.
And that was one identified that a lot of respondents were not aware of. So thank you, Judy.
Yeah, so it's good to help spread the word and share these resources. So we have lots of congratulations for you, Tim. So thank you so much for joining us today again, and congratulations. And thank you to everyone who's watched live with us. Do you have any other last thoughts to share with us, Tim or Grace?
I do, if I have a minute.
Yeah, go ahead.
And that's just the importance of feedback in general, and being able to have this kind of feedback, which is it's essential to receive this kind of feedback in order to be responsive to our membership and to embrace our own strategic priorities. Two of ELV's strategic priorities are program value and ELV's technological capacity, and this feedback directly ties into these. And when feedback is documented in general, but especially in the way that Grace has summarized and analyzed it for us, it makes it more actionable for ELV to move forward. Ultimately, not only does it fold into our current workflows, but then also informs our approach to organization-wide goal setting in the future. So thank you, Grace, for your work, and thank you to the viewers for your comments. Yeah,
thank you. And thank you both for joining us today. And yes, thank you so much, Grace, for partnering with us on this.
Oh, thank you. It's been a pleasure.
Awesome. And be sure to watch live, follow us on Facebook and YouTube. So watch out for our weeks to come videos. We are live every Wednesday here on Facebook and YouTube at 1:00 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And then be sure, like Tim said, our newsletter is a great resource for just seeing what's happening and what's new. So you can find the link to our website in the description of this video, so you can sign up for that. But thank you all so much for joining us today, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time.